argument to celebrate Wei.
Well, here we go. The final draft of this series is Tom, Kench, and Thresh have both been banned away. The Zoe Respect banned, as well as the Twisted Fate from Knight. The Alistair taken away from Ming. And finally, that Hecarim removed off the table. So things like Udyr still available, but also that Kai'Sa that we talked about with Gala, definitely his best AD carry.
Are you ready for your Trundle munch? Because if they priority pick Udyr here, it does open up the opportunity for Kai'Sa to actually look for the Trundle.
I would love to see it. We'll talk. Let's hold off until it's locked in before we go, because I know we can rabbit hole on Trundle for a while. It's going to be well locked in.
Okay.
Alongside the Volibear as the answer. There's been picked a lot in Europe, less so over here.
Now, Kai'Sa did make a huge splash on this champion in their first best of 5 in the playoff bracket. It was played pretty much exclusively. Now, the thing about Volibear Jungle, if you haven't seen it in a while, it's still going to do the same thing. It basically has if you pair it with a bunch of setup in the lanes, it shows up, it hits you for about 80% of your HP and just massively chunks you out. Kai'Sa plays Volibear pretty much exclusively as a hard ganking jungler, whereas Wei is going to be hard farming. But reminder, what we want to see from RNG is this exactly. We want to see RNG have dominant lanes to play through to give Wei some space. You can't have losing matchups across every single lane and then expect Wei to be able to do anything.
So now we have to see Top Esports trying to play around the fact that Xiaohu is on the Lucian once more. This is the style we saw RNG be so successful on in the regular split. Hold the phone. We get the Draven from Jackie-Love. Oh, this is going to be a treat.
Those who are new to the LPL, I'm sure you've already heard it. Jackie-Love used to be a Draven one-trick. He is the Draven player. It is his specialty champion. You see the neck snap right there. You see the tension coming out. He is throwing the gauntlet down. It has so much 1v1 and 2v2 potential. You pair it with a Rel, there's so much kill pressure, and this is a guy whose bread and butter is Draven. So I am excited to see one of the great Draven players really take the stage in a game that means so much. Reminder, this is it. This is game 5. This is the silver scrapes of the double elimination. Loser goes home here.
Oh, this is going to be so exciting. I feel like Jackie-Love as a player embodies Draven as well. Like the way he turns up to trash talk videos, everyone else is talking about fine dining and pizza feet. And Jackie-Love's there like, I'm gonna make them regret the day they became a pro player. It's like, that's not trash talk. That's just aggro, dude.
That's just mean.
Yeah. All right, top lane is being banned by RNG here. Blind pick coming through for Top Esports.
Now, Top Esports do need a hard engage here. I really like the Orianna from Knight. Again, Knight has gone for the Akalis. He's a great Orianna player. I think at this point, you actually just need to bite the bullet and lock it in, especially blind, so you allow 369 to get a champion that he really wants to round out this composition. I do think something like a Camille, even if the lane matchup isn't your favorite, could be really useful here, because having that hard engage would be really important. You could also maybe even look for, I mean, you can't go Gangplank, because blinding Gangplank into a Lucian would just be a bad time with the double tap, but it would also kind of fit here to at least round out their comp, but lane phase would just be rough.
That's the thing, is Lucian is real good in the lane phase against most things. It's one of the reasons that Lucian is such a strong pick, and especially blind because it's flexible. Obviously, they're not going to flex it. Cran's going with the Azir here, but that is one of the freedoms you get. Thing is, with the support pick, something like the Leona, I guess, would be available, but Rakan is actually the answer. Ming looks pretty great on Rakan the other day. I like it. It's a solid pickup.
Oh, please give me some rock solid.
That's a good answer, actually.
Okay. Obviously, it's going to be really good in terms of itemizing into the Lucian. Can still have a relatively rough lane phase. We'll keep our eyes on what 369 is actually going to max and what keystone he's going to take. It is in a ranged matchup, so I do expect him to go Comet as opposed to Grass, which you can opt into as a Malphite if you're in a melee versus melee matchup. But some Malphites will max the W as opposed to the Q, and we'll try to keep our eyes on what 369 is doing to get at least through this lane phase and then to that level 6 into that armor itemization to make him such a threat into the late game. On RNG side, you have Comfort. You have Xiaohu on his Lucian. You have Cryan on his Azir. Gala got back on the Kai'Sa. Ming on the Rakan. And then on the other side, they're also matching Comfort. Knight on his Orianna. Jackie-Love on his Draven. These big, iconic champions for these guys as we go into Game 5. But you know that the name of the game is going to be for Kai'Sa to just blitz every lane. Try to get that snowball going for top esports. Try to get these skirmishes around the river into the lanes, whereas RNG just need to slow them down, just need to absorb that pressure, scale up, look for these 5v5s, and prove that they're the better macro team on the day, because they are certainly not matching up to the brute force muscle of top esports.
It feels like the story of this series has been about the early game. Can top esports get themselves ahead? If they can, they will close it out. If they can't, RNG are the better team when it comes to the late game decision making. Xiaohu has the carry top. We've got Knights Oriana. We've got Jackie Loves Draven. We're going into game 5 of the elimination match here in the lower bracket. I've got a smile from ear to ear here for Oscar as we go into Game 5. I was praying that we would get Game 5. You can hear the crowd out in force here for RNG Top Esports. Two beloved teams here in the LPL, both bringing their own individual style, both bringing the strengths that we've seen from them, and especially Jackie Love bringing the Draven. Oh, I'm so excited to watch how that lane goes.
You got exactly what you wanted. Checking in on the Keystones, we talked about the Comet versus the Grasp with 369. Because it is that range matchup, he is going to go ahead and go with the Comet there. Reminder that the lane phase will probably be pretty rough for him, but as soon as he gets level 6, the kill pressure definitely changes, especially when you put in this jungle matchup. Now, paying attention to where the junglers are, again, it's another topside start from Karsa. Leashless going down, now obviously giving 369 any advantage he can to start this lane phase on the right foot, whereas Wei is getting the traditional leash, which means that Jackie Love and Joe actually even ghost leashed Karsa and don't get advantage on the wave first, but as soon as Joe moves into that bush, you control that bush, which is why starting Oracle's is so important on support, because if you control that bush, you control the wave. Look at Ming. He can't step forward. He can't contest for this. It means that it's going to guarantee the level 2 for Jackie Love and Joel, which is already so potent on a champion like Rel and Draven, and they're already going in.
Yep, catching the whirling blades here as Gala steps up. You can't really trade with Draven early on in the lane. That's not a fight that you want to take here for RNG. And importantly, you mentioned that ghost leash. Karsa could find an opportunity at just beyond 3 minutes to get a gank on that bottom lane when the wave resets. That could be the moment that breaks the game open if they're able to get kills onto Jackie Love.
And do want to point out that Cryan actually just, with his prio in mid lane, has placed a ward on Karsa's Raptor camp and pinged it. So they at least know that Karsa could either be on his Krug camp or is on his blue camp right now. Now, one of the issues with Draven is to really have your damage stacked, because you have to be juggling the axes, is it's a little bit more difficult to hold waves on this champion, kind of like in the same way that it is for Tristana. You know, the E is automatically going to make the wave bounce, because if you really want to hold the wave, you need to basically only be sitting on a single axe and just kind of last hitting like that. So it looks like they're looking for a slow crash and potentially even into a dive.
Well, Karsa has been spotted out on the wall, so he's going to back away and just go for the Scuttle Crab as Xiaohu taking a lot of punishment. This is one of the things about Malphite in the top lane that I think people don't realize. I'm actually a bit of a Malphite aficionado for when I get autofill top as an AD carry. Here we go. Dive coming through. You're absolutely right. The stun is there. And Jackie Love gets first blood on his Draven, but Xiaohu is here to answer with one of his own. Ming takes another axe to the face, but I think top esports will be happy with that trade.
Really good response, though, from Xiaohu, knowing that he had the wave pushed up against Lucian versus Malphite. He's always going to have control over that wave. You do see that 369 and the observers are showcasing that it's either a freeze or a very slow push. It'll be a very slow push because his minions are focus fired. So it will eventually kind of swell and move back towards Xiaohu, but picking up the kill means that his teleport was perfectly worth it. And even though Jackie Love picked up first blood and looks like he's going the lethality route on this Draven, so looking for the Sheen, he's probably going to go Essence Reaver into Duskblade and play kind of like the Ezreal build.
Yeah, it is kind of disgusting damage, I'm not gonna lie. You will absolutely start punch-on people once that lethality comes through. So top esports start things off well, and importantly, we don't have the the usual thing that you get with Draven in the game, right? Where we're all just counting adoration stacks, waiting for that to be cashed in and a massive, massive cash injection. We don't have that quite the same bonus here for JackeyLove, but that's completely fine in his eyes. He already got the extra 100 gold from First Blood, but also you get incrementally more gold, even if it's not that big of an individual bounty. 369 could be in trouble here as Wei. Just going to go for the flash bear slap. I mean, it's as easy as that.
Yeah, didn't even get an opportunity for 369 to use the flash. He flashed with the bear slap and then immediately changed into Phoenix, got the splash damage. Udyr is so good at skirmishing early on and is such a potent early game champion. Because of the raw damage that happens, it will force the... Oh, never mind. 369's so screwed. I was going to say it will force the TP out of 369 to at least pick up this wave, but he's already used it. So Xiaohu got the TP advantage on him to go down bot lane, pick up a kill. Didn't lose anything on the wave because the minions were focus fire from 369's. It was a swell back towards him. Like, Xiaohu is just in heaven right now as far as how this lane phase has gone. And on the other side for Draven, you already talked about it. You know, it's not necessarily the adoration stack that you really want, but you know, JackeyLove is feeling very powerful. But like I said, it's harder for a Draven to freeze a wave than other AD carries if he wants to keep his damage stack up, which is why Karsa is just repeat on this gank. He has to give so much attention to JackeyLove because Draven will be extended in this lane phase, which means that 369, like, I'm sorry, buddy, you're on your own.
Yeah, I just want to really quickly mention an interaction before this fight kicks off because I've got a feeling we're going to 3v3 here. And that's that Rakan specifically is very good into the Draven because you have to go and stand where your axe is going to land. It gives you a telegraph position that Rakan can easily find the knock-up on into the quickness to get the charm off the back of the knock-up. It's really, really easy to just lock Draven up in that situation and find kills in that way. So important to keep your eyes on Ming in those bot lane skirmishes as the Drake is taken here by Top Esports. Obviously, infinite priority here for the bottom lane for Top Esports, so it's easy for Karsa to extend that into a Drake. Culling actually being used by Xiaohu up in the top side.
Xiaohu does need to play a little bit more careful now. 369 does have kill pressure now that he has access to his ultimate, and here comes the dive again. Udyr's in the wings, but I think that they should just zone them off of the tower and pick up the plates. Don't overreach. Wei is hiding in the bush. Really good patience here from Top Esports. I thought for sure they were going to fall for that trap.
That's not a sentence you expected to say today, is it? That's really good patience from Top Esports. If the JackeyLove effect is real, this game will decide it. He's got the Draven. This is very much a carry that he can enact the JackeyLove effect and be impatient. But so far, so good for Top Esports as they just guarantee a solo plate for JackeyLove, and Karsa doing a really good job to play around his bottom lane and set JackeyLove up for success.
Now, we are checking in on those teleport timers. They're going to be up relatively soon, and this is kind of the big window for Top Esports if they want to, like, double down on the absolute hell they're raining on this bot lane. JackeyLove, you know, up significant amount of CS, has chipped and pushed Gala off, has a level advantage, has a plate advantage, and as soon as 369 has access to TP, I think that Top Esports are going to roll the exact same play again. They're going to pull down Karsa, so probably a top to bot clear, place a ward behind them, and have Malphite join on this party. If they can seek it up with a Drake spawn for this mountain, it's going to be even better.
This blast cone changes everything though. Wei gets
gonna have to ult
past
defensively.
The ward.
Even
has to just flash. Doesn't use his unstoppable force. Perhaps wanted to save that because Karsa's moving up as well. And I don't think Karsa's actually been spotted. He was on the Rift Herald, which is classic Karsa really, isn't it? The second that's up, Joe's going to go for a dive though. Actually just flashes in. Whirling Death is there. Goodbye, Gala. Just gets eradicated like it's pest control in the bottom lane.
And obviously, even though it's a 1-for-1 trade, because the wave is on the tower, because it's support versus AD carry trade, it's still very much in favor of JackeyLove, and that's one of the other effects. It's almost like the Misfortune Leona, the ability to just burst and kill a target through the duration of the CC. Rel's ultimate there, just holding you in place for that whirling death. Very cool combination, and JackeyLove is getting pretty big on this Draven.
Got a bit of a 3v3 though as Wei goes in, but he's knocked up by the unstoppable force. Cran gets a nice ulti off here. Knight already used the shockwave. As Xiaohu just gets slammed down and finished off. Double kill for him, but he's taken down by Knight in the end. Chuo's arrived off of the recall. In fact, he died, but it was just a quick recall. It was genius. He died on purpose to get back to base for the Herald. It's so 5-head.
500 IQ right there for the tempo reset. In reality, just really good communication from Duo to know that he needed to immediately run to his top side of the map as Knight's going to go ahead and take care of this wave for 369. We take another look at this one. We talked about it. It's similar to Leona Misfortune in that you can CC someone long enough for the duration that you do enough damage with your ADC to just burst someone, and it's only going to get easier. Now, taking another look at this, it's Malphite ultimate into the splitting sky, whatever volley bear just crash lands on you, into Shockwave. Cryan does manage to kind of pick up the back half of it, but then that numbers advantage, like you said, from Rel coming through. And taking a look at items, the Essence Reaver is complete. I expect it will be Duskblade, which, again, it's a lethality poke-oriented Draven. You already talked about how the axes make Draven relatively hard to play in pro play, and that you know exactly where the AD carry is going to land, so it makes it that much easier to just stack CC on top of them. But by building lethality and building just kind of like raw damage, which is why usually you would see Draven go for like Bloodthirster into Infinity Edge, he becomes a poke-oriented champion that it's a single axe, a single crit, where someone gets half health.
Yeah, the trick is if Rakan can CC you, you just kill Rakan while he's in his W animation so that the CC doesn't go off. It's genius. You just kill them before they ever CC you and you can't be CC'd. Death is the best CC after all. Castle's moved down to the bottom side. Duo forces a flash away there. As,
yeah, the
actually, I think it was
teleport.
just Ming using the shield. TP coming on through. As 369 is quite happily just chilling up on the top side, by the way. He's just on his Krugs. He has his TP available if something happens, but top Esports, they got a TP. They're okay with that.
Yeah, and now here comes Karsa for the reach round. Good night.
Okay, there's a Shockwave. Cryan is just taken out. Knight tagging the tower, but he's happy to, and does have that Herald as well, so they can just slam that if they really want to, and get some bonus towers, some bonus plates for themselves as well. Shahu moves to this mid lane here. Should be able to defend, and it should just be 3 plates taken in the end.
Yeah, but ultimately it does force RNG out of the river. Now you can see that Ming is still kind of sitting on the pit, at least acting as a human ward and just being like, it's okay if they want to collapse on the pit, I can just go over the wall. So RNG don't want to let this one slide, but 369 now has pressure on the top tower, also still has his TP, and you're Shockwave down, but top Esports are still in a great position to fight this.
Yeah, I mean, just look at the gold difference right now, and so much of that gold is sat in the pockets of Jackylove. Essence Reaver, if you've not seen 80 carries with Essence Reaver, this is an obnoxiously large power spike in the early game. The damage that you do when you cast an ability, which, by the way, if you don't play Draven, his W is an attack speed steroid that resets every time he catches an axe. So that is constantly being pressed. You get Sheen procs galore for Draven.
It just makes your damage absolutely disgusting as you can run someone down. So far this game, though, I've been really impressed with how Karsa is impacting his lanes. Again, there hasn't been a lot of pressure. 369 fell down early, but again, Karsa just said, you're on your own, friend, and continued with the plan, which was bot, 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 and now turning that attention towards the mid lane to catch Cryan out. It's just been a really beautiful performance from top Esports in this lane phase.
Yeah, and the thing about the top lane as well is the longer it goes on, the safer 369 is going to be. He'll be able to recall at some point and grab his first mythic, and he'll be in a position where realistically there's not much kill threat from Shahu anymore, especially once he gets a Thornmail locked in as well. He's going to be completely invincible in the side lane. So Wei is pretty deep right now. He's gone for basically a solo invade, and Karsa's moving to that portion of the map. I don't know if Wei is going to be able to get away with this one as Karsa moves in. Sky Splitter available, but Wei gets the smite and manages to get away with it.
Yeah, I think he felt confident because he didn't notice that 369 was in river. Maybe he thought that he wasn't in lane yet, and so he decided to go in. It got a little bit more dicey when 369 showed back up into the lane phase, but now mid.
Oh. Well, Knight said he wanted to be more aggressive to make sure that they win this series, and that is aggressive right there. Using the Shockwave to try and force Cryan out of the lane. Doing a great job to just deny CS. 16 up in that lane himself, and now he can move over and start taking some of Wei's chickens.
And Knight is just, he's gotten so much better at how he applies his lane dominance to the rest of the map, and yeah, it's just taking the chickens. Although, did I speak too soon?
Cryan goes
no shockwave.
for the 1v1 here. Yeah, I mean, Phase Rush exists. There's a Whirling Death as well. I don't think Knight was quite ready for that one. Didn't have Flash available. It's just come off a cooldown now. So they can't quite execute the cross-map kill. That would have been something else.
A little bit scary, though, because Wei could flash on him.
Yeah, he is going to flash on him as well. Knight has flash available, though. Gets underneath the tower. Way's gone too deep on this one. Or has he? Castle can't actually chase him down. Goes for the Q, but he's chased away by Crying. And Way once again answers. But here we go with the bottom side. Once again, Gala just eradicated. He gets the shield. Finally goes down. Malphite is here. The knock-up is there as well. JackeyLove with the double kill as Xiaohu falls.
The fadeaway ignite there to finally take down JackeyLove, but the damage has been done. That's 2 kills for Draven. That's a bunch of adoration stacks. This Draven is going to be huge. And yeah, things went a little bit sideways. It wasn't exactly what Top Esports wanted to do. They weren't playing proactively. They were playing reactively to RNG, but across the map, and when the dust all settles, it's them who win out big. It is multiple kills on this Draven. It is the tower falling down into the bot lane. It is key flashes being removed off of Udyr and Lucian and making those champions that much harder to play around.
Let's take another look from JackeyLove's perspective. I mean, he basically one-shots Gala. Gala gets the killer instinct, so he survives for a minute there, but then just, I mean, he's kind of just blasting autos, let's be honest. That was the extent of what happened there. And he's actually going to go for the crit build right here on the Draven, where he's going to go for the Gale Force. Or I have seen Kraken Slayer a little bit, but against this team composition, realistically, I think Gale Force is going to be the answer for JackeyLove.
I think it's fun. You're still kind of like that poke-oriented champion then, because you can Gale Force forward and get off an empowered auto on the Axe. And then, like you're saying, going for the crit build, you crit them, you have the Gale Force into a single Axe. You're still doing the same thing of basically half-healthing them.
And you have a little bit more longevity in your build as well. You don't fall off of a cliff quite as hard in the mid game, so definitely a lot of things to be said about this one. 369 is in a bit of trouble here. Does have the ulti available, but with that TP, it's going to make things a little bit more difficult. The unstoppable force is actually going to get him out of this one. And Xiaohu's already used the culling. He's going to go for the tower dive. Yeah, I think you need to back away on that one, mate. In the meantime, Gala has once again been absolutely power stomped by JackeyLove.
And we were talking about it, you know, Wei and Xiaohu don't have their flashes. It makes, you know, Lucian and Udyr that much harder to play, especially Udyr, who's so reliant on his flash to be able to hit reliable CC instead of just running someone down. So 369 doing a really good job. Yeah, his tower goes down, but saving his life for that one. And they just trade top for top tower, and it's going to mean so much more on JackeyLove. Because the thing is there's not really anyone on RNG that can threaten JackeyLove, especially now that the Gale Force is complete. You know, it's not like they have the Malphite or the hard engage to dive down. Gala can try to ult into the backline like he did in game number 1, but JackeyLove's literally going to two-shot him in the face.
Yeah, and I feel like this is a bit of a mistake from RNG to be under that tower. We have seen JackeyLove and Troll dive this 2v2 about 8 times so far this game. And yet, Gala and Mega like, the wave's crashing. I think we can clear this. There's no way they dive us, right? And immediately, Troll just goes in and dives them. It's like, oh, what a surprise. It's going to be a dive again. Top Esports now get a third Drake on the trot. We're only 18 minutes into the game, and they are on the cusp of an Ocean Soul Frosker. And we said Top Esports have to play their game and accelerate, and that's exactly what they're doing, as JackeyLove just wails on Way. But Gala's in. They can look for the shutdown here. This is the assassination. He gets out. Ming has to go for the kill himself and takes the shutdown away from his team. Now Gala's in trouble. 1 HP as Casa looks to close the gap. Uses the Q to charge on forwards. Can they finish the kill? Sky Splitter in for the shield. Gala surely will eventually go down. He can't get in range for the auto.
I stand corrected, JackeyLove. You will always find a way. I was like, there's no way they can dive on JackeyLove. He had his flash. He's got Gale Force. They don't have flash on Udyr. It's going to be ridiculously hard to get on top of him. JackeyLove finds a way. He's like, I can miss position in this river. I can get collapsed on by 20 people.
This is, as they say, the JackeyLove effect, right? No matter how far ahead you get, there's always a way to lose.
In a more traditional team fight, JackeyLove should feel really strong and really secure right now. Now, good news is if you're a top esports fan, is that, like you were saying, they're one step away from Ocean Soul. The fact that he's in melee range of Udyr to start this fight, probably not great. But they don't lose anything for this. Yeah, JackeyLove goes down, but it's Ming that picks up the kill. They still have so much pressure in so many lanes. You know, Xiaohu can no longer compete with 369. Yep.
And this is how Malphite works once you get level 6.
Oh, no, it's a disaster!
He went 2D. That's the second time I saw this series where Xiaohu has just about escaped on 1 HP from a tower dive from 369. That time it was on the Scion, this time it was on the Malphite. So Xiaohu getting the best of it, but ultimately that is how that matchup is going to go. Once Malphite gets a little bit of armor, he has the power to just all in onto the Lucian.
How nervous are you, Munch? Like, you've now just seen Jackie Love get caught in River.
Not at all.
You've now seen Xiaohu pull back because 369 dives the tower. Not even a little bit nervous?
I'm an ascended being at this point. I have accepted that there is nothing I can do to change the fate of top esports. This is all on them.
They just have to
revel. They have to revel in the mojo, you know? This is all about the mojo for them. And do you know what? They've picked up a Draven. They've started snowballing through that. Knight's got the Orianna, and he's dominating mid. Karsa is on arguably the strongest jungler in the patch. It's just not played much in LPL. This feels fantastic to me. There's a very real possibility that they just throw at an objective and that top esports get knocked out of the tournament. And I'm willing to accept that. But I believe in the mojo, and I believe that top esports can make this happen with the Draven pick for Jackie Love. This is the way that it had to be. The comfort picks across the board.
Well, it's ride or die for Munch here, and he should be feeling pretty good, as it looks like top esports are using the Herald mid lane to apply pressure to the Baron. Now, they are at about 2 items collectively, whereas most of RNG are about an item and a half, if not just an item. So there's a huge team fight advantage in terms of raw battle stats for top esports, and they also have vision control over this area that RNG will have to check into with basically Udyr.
Yeah, and I've just checked my watch. It is actually Baron o'clock. So, you know, we've talked about this all series long. Top esports, we're past 20 minutes. There's a very real possibility that they just run at that Baron and just try and rush it as fast as possible. As you say, 2 items across the board here. Karsa threatening. 369 engaged upon, but he is Malphite, not really the ideal target. And using his flash there so that his ult is still available if RNG check in, still has that engaged tool.
Yep, and also has the teleport, so should find an easy reset here. I was curious if top esports would continue to pressure there, try to use a flanking TP and maybe try to force this, but I think because it is game 5, at this point we're going to see the teams play a little bit more conservatively and not just expend it over for the flashes, but this is cute. So getting around the vision, the observer's doing a great job showcasing how RNG, how RNG knew exactly where the vision was, but at this point, maybe they think that they have a head enough start that they can just burn it, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Big
they get
brain.
The Baron RNG. They managed to sneak it away. Everyone jumps over the walls. Ocean Soul is spawning in 30 seconds. RNG, they've managed to slow top esports by taking this Baron here. That is a massive steal away. But top esports are onto the bottom side of the map right here. 20 seconds and RNG have to find an answer, or Ocean Soul will go the way of top esports.
But that's the question. Do you decide just to give away the Ocean Soul and just take the time that the Baron bought you? You still have a great scaling-oriented composition. You don't need to flip the game here, destroy your Baron, and possibly just run into a team fight that you're going to lose anyway. Like, does it suck to lose the Ocean Soul? Absolutely. But at this point, if you're RNG, you're like, we can't face check into that, and we don't want to lose our Baron. We need to use this Baron timer to acquire as much gold as possible to even get a foot back into this game to buy us the proper items to 5v5 later on. This is about Elder now.
Okay, well, both teams just shake hands and say, look, you got the Baron, we got the Dragon, you get a couple of towers in the mid lane. Everyone's happy with the way that this has gone, except for top esports. So Ocean Soul here, in the long run, definitely the benefit, but in the short term, this Baron and taking those 2 mid towers will definitely be a welcome injection of gold for RNG, because when you look across the board here, we've been talking about these item spikes. We just saw 2 items finish for Away. We see 2 items now for Gala as well, as an Executioner's calling so that he can reduce the effectiveness of that Ocean Soul. The important one is Cryan, still not at that 2 item mark just yet.
369 now caught out. Does have his ultimate.
Could be in trouble, but he is Malphite, so I'm not going to be too worried about him for now. And you can see top esports don't want to let RNG anywhere near their towers. If they can help it, RNG will get nothing more from this Baron.
I feel like RNG need to accept that. Again, checking in on itemization, multiple stopwatches on both Jackie Love and Knight here. Top esports would actually feel really good to look for a dive, because risk versus reward is worth it for them. If they dive, and even if it does go wrong, there's not much that RNG can get back. You know, there's no Elder that's up. They'd have to run multiple waves back in position to trade for a tower. They are going to play this one safe, but like, they are perfectly primed and ready for a fight. They have key summoners like their flashes. They have the key core itemization that they need. They have the stopwatches on their carries. This is like the strongest at this point in the game that top esports could possibly be. RNG are at the critical position. One mistake here costs them their entire spring split.
This spring split, they managed to get first place. They were flawless for half of the season.
Teleport.
Here we go.
Here comes
TP
Malphite.
from 369. He's on the top side of the play here, but it's just going to be to deny the tier 2. Pings on the red buff, actually, from top esports. Jackalov has one. He might look for a second one as well. And
but you can
I will
see
say
how hungry they are for it. Like,
yeah.
RNG are playing with fire. They are right on that edge where immediately the snap TP from Malphite comes in and RNG just have to get the hell out of dodge. Like, okay, we didn't mean it.
This is a tense game, and RNG, as you say, first seed from the regular split. They fell out of their first series in playoffs 0-3. They are here to prove that the split wasn't a fluke, and top esports are taking them right to the wire on this one. It comes down to the team fighting at the end of the day, and that was one of the strengths that we said for RNG. The way that they play the map is beautiful, and the way that they win the team fights is often a lot better than top esports. We're getting to that later stage where the actual straight-up 5v5s could come into play, but I don't know whether RNG's composition is necessarily the best in terms of the fight.
Because there's basically 2 minutes for RNG to get as much gold as possible. Now, you have 2 members of RNG on Vision. I believe Wei might have been shown, but you at least see Cryan. I think 369 actually just needs to man up and press R. He needs to start a fight, because I actually think that top esports are losing so much of the advantage that they clearly have at this point by not being able to start the fights. RNG are literally ripping them around the map. They got the Baron, they made sure to stay away from top esports. They forced up the teleport, so 369 couldn't get the engagement on the top lane. They traded the top lane tower for the bot lane tower and multiple waves onto Cryan. RNG are, you know, just now taking the gold lead. The 5v5s are starting to come back in, but that's because top esports are not very good at forcing RNG to fight them. And all of that responsibility is on 369. He needs to get in there and get this team to have the fight.
And this feels like a very reminiscent story of what we saw in 2020 as well, right? When you think about the way that top esports won games in 2020, it was playing around the Baron, playing around the Elder Dragon, forcing the enemy to fight you via neutral objectives. They've got a minute until that Baron comes up, and you can fully expect top esports will make their way over there. But over the course of this game, we saw top esports starting off strong. And what that lead has turned into is the Ocean Soul. But in terms of the gold lead and in terms of the territory, we're even in towers, we're even in gold, we're almost even in kills. Everything else is evened up. It's just that Ocean Soul that is the big advantage for top esports right now.
Now, taking a look at map state, it is going to be a Baron control for top esports. They have all of their members on that top side of the map. Knight hasn't shown yet. Now he has shown. So now RNG finally get information that Knight is split up from the team because of that control ward. He hadn't hit the top wave yet, which is why RNG are now storming down to the mid lane, but they do know that the flank from all 5 members of top esports can come from top side. There's still Emperor's Divide. They're okay. But this looks like it's going to be a trade for Elder for Baron. Now, there's a 40-second difference here. And again, top esports have inside track. I think RNG might actually just give it and try to steamroll through the bottom inhibitor and try to play this one out for Elder.
Yeah, look at Xiaohu and Gala on the bottom side of the map right now. Top esports are going to get the Baron for themselves. The question is, what can RNG do in the meantime? Wei is over the wall. If he gets this steal, this would change the game completely. Wei is waiting, gets a ward in, flashes in for the steal! Wei, you absolute monster! And in the meantime, RNG are in the base. They're trying to end the game. The team has been taken down, though. RNG with the Baron in the base. On tonight, turns into the Zhonya's. Can he keep himself safe for long enough? The recalls are coming on through, but do they get there in time? The Nexus solo on HP. Xiaohu is on the scene. Nexus low. Gala get the orders in. He's taken down. Top esports, hold on.
And the Elder Dragon is just about to spawn. Yes, Top Esports, they lost the Baron. They didn't have the empowered recalls, but their Nexus is still alive and the Elder is up. Multiple teleports on both Xiaohu and Cryan, but the death timers are way too long. This is definitely the Elder, which means if RNG have a chance in hell at pulling this game back on the miracle steal, the miracle heist they almost played out, they have to outlive this Elder, which again, 369, you are going to have Elder. You are going to have all of the items you need. There's a potential for a backdoor. You need to force the fight on Elder and end this game.
Look at Droz sweeping the base right now. There are 2 TPs available. Available for RNG. Cryan and Xiaohu can both make their way into the base via those TPs. You can see there's a couple of wards over around the red buff. Let's take a closer look at what actually happened here, because Gala and Xiaohu, that is a turret killing combo right there.
Yeah, and I think it was the fact that Knight bought that much time from Gala and Xiaohu. Yes, they killed him, but the stasis, I mean, that really was the difference. The stasis was the difference of the single auto attack of that Nexus going down. So the smallest things there. Other small things to note is that Jackie Love took his time killing the Elder Dragon to make sure that all members of Top Esports had respawned, so they all have access to the Elder. And here we are, an open exposed Nexus. I mean, RNG, they're going through the options. Do we just literally blitz this Nexus with all 5 people and just rush it? Do we try to splinter cell this? Do we wait for the Elder and try to take a 5v5 at the next time that Baron or Elder spawns? Like, these are all the things that are just rapidly going through your mind right now.
And RNG have been one of the best teams in the LPL at these decisions, but they cannot do anything while the Elder is up. They cannot afford to fight Top Esports with that Elder Dragon available. So we'll have a bit of a stall out in this game. And I just love the kind of how poetic this game is almost, where it's Xiaohu very much the carry on the side of RNG this game. It's Jackie Love stepping up on the Draven with 8 kills in this game. But Knight could be in trouble. Wei and Xiaohu moving towards the bottom side of the map, but they're spotted on a ward. Knight will be fine. I honestly think maybe Knight can 2v1 that. With Elder Drake, with his shockwave, maybe he just one-shots them.
I mean, the fact of the matter is that you couldn't have scripted an ending better between these two organizations. Like, you said it, you've got all the things that you want. You've got our main protagonists in anime fashion on, like, their best champions, the champions that they're known for. It's coming down to a late-game team fight, you know, for an Elder, things like this.
Feels good.
This is wild.
Feels
and I have to
good.
give credit to Wei. When it mattered, he got the smite steal against Karsa. Now, I believe it's Saint Vicious that originally said it. Maybe it was Skara, but basically a lot of junglers feel that the jungler who's going for the steal is usually at the advantage than the jungler who's in the pit. Obviously, this is, you know, dependent on what your composition looks like, how you're going to burst, how you're communicating for the smite, but just credit where credit is due. Wei got the most clutch Baron, and it almost won them the game by disabling the empowered recalls alone.
I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter about who is the better jungler across this series. All that matters is what happens in the next 5 minutes between these two junglers. Wei stepping up to get that smite against Karsa, the guy that we've been praising all series long. We were talking about jungle diff all series long. But Wei steps up when it matters the most. Now Ming trying to clear some vision. Gets kicked out of the base. Elder has worn off at this point in the game. It's up in 3 minutes. Baron is up in 2. And this feels so tense for us, Skurin, where we see the defending LPL champions in Top Esports against the ropes, stuck in their base trying to defend an open Nexus. But that inhib will be spawning again in 40 seconds time. That will be before the Baron is up. Top Esports will not have to deal with the super minions while Baron is on the Baron.
Yeah, unfortunately for Top Esports, they need to invest so much of their time in clearing the wards for the potential backdoor from multiple teleports. You look across their inventory, it's all sweepers and scryers. You know, it's multiple control wards. They have been trapped at their front door, just slowly weeding everything out, waiting for this inhib to respawn and giving RNG so much time, again, to meet them on even footing. What was a massive gold lead in favor of Top Esports hasn't existed for the last 15 minutes. And that's crazy for how this game was getting snowballed so far out of control. So huge credit to RNG for that beautiful Baron sneak going around the vision. Huge credit for the experience and the gall to even look for a base race across from top esports. But to turn this game around when from lane phase it looked so utterly doomed, now RNG's comp is going to feel so much stronger.
And you feel the experience on this roster from RNG. Xiaohu and Ming have been on this team for years and years, and it feels like they are desperate to use that veterancy in moments like this. This is where it all comes up. But Baron up in 15 seconds. Remember, there is a ward in that brush. There could be TP plays to just end the game.
Yeah, and you can already see that Cryan and Xiaohu, they seem to have made their decision. They're basically like, RNG, you need to bait top esports into a fight, keep them busy when they go for this Baron, and we're going to go end the game. It's Azir, it's Lucian, and now top esports need to show us how much this young team has learned.
Zonya's used by Knight to keep himself safe. Xiaohu couldn't quite get the
Good
kill.
flash.
Cryan doesn't get the ulti. Shockwave is in there. Cryan goes down. Knight now in trouble as Gala comes into the play. Karsa moving on over, gets the stun onto Gala. Can they finish the AD carry? Snaps his neck with the ulti, and the whirling death comes through. It's 3v3 though on the map as 369 has to go back to base and heal.
And in true LPL fashion, it is not a big team fight over the Baron. It is them trying to make picks. Look at that damage!
Almost one-shots him, but the CC is there. Zhuo steps up in the moment of need and sets JackeyLove up with the shutdown on Ming.
And now it is not just the Baron, it is also the Elder. And at this point in the game, you can very easily split your team to take both, especially with these long of recall timers.
Maybe this is it. Maybe.
Literally on guard duty.
He is the bouncer of the inhibitor. JackeyLove, down the mid lane we go as they look for an inhib tower here. Xiaohu, no flash available, no culling available. It's difficult for them to make a play here. That'll be a tower taken. And over to the Elder Dragon, go top esports. They're going to move over and look for that buff to try and end the game.
Here's one teleport. I believe this is Cryan. Now, Xiaohu still has his TP, and that ward is still available in that brush. But again, JackeyLove at this point can burn through Elder by himself so effectively and so quickly. Look, Lucian going for the ward up top.
Wei has flash
He's
here. We're
running
going to
the
see. Yeah, Xiaohu's going to try and make the backdoor happen. Teleport away from 369 as he goes towards the base. It's a kill onto Cryan, though. That's such a massive pick. Wei looking for the steal, but he's shockwaved away. The smite still hits. Wei goes down. He sacrifices his life to get the Elder Dragon. Xiaohu pushed out of the base, though, by 369. You may have Elder Dragon, but that Malphite is damn invincible at this point in the game. Top esports lose the Dragon, but they win the fight.
And Wei being the hero again, but JackeyLove says not today and is steamrolling down this mid lane. You can see that Gala and Ming are very quickly trying to get back into position, but there's no tank available. JackeyLove can two-shot any of these champions if they want to continue to push, or they can fall back to Baron.
They're escorting the wave in. Nobody from RNG can stop this wave. Nobody can proxy it. They're escorting the wave underneath the tower. This is the fight. 4v3 right here for top esports. Can they end the game disabling the towers? But Karsa just gets one shot as he goes in. Suddenly, this doesn't look so good. One tower goes down. Top esports now moving on to the second tower. 369 moving his way over. Ming jumps into the fray, but so does Zhuo. Pulls in Xiaohu and takes him down. 1-for-1 though as Cryan's respawned. And suddenly top esports on the retreat here. Ming takes a couple of hits. Wei goes and gets the stun on JackeyLove. But it's a double kill for the superstar AD carry. But Gala tries to turn it around. He's sitting on top of the GA. Finishes the Draven. JackeyLove is down. And Zhuo can't escape the base. More kills for Gala. And RNG hold on.
And every single time top esports find themselves in these positions, they get into the base, they try to force the call. It's JackeyLove leading, and it's JackeyLove that leads them to their disaster again. 369 is left alive. Maybe he kills Wei, but you can see it. The death timers are massive, and Gala is sprinting to end this one. I think he's going to have enough time. It is Karsa against this Kai'Sa right now. She'll at least get the inhib.
15 seconds, though, on Knight. I don't think the game is going to end here. Gala's looking for the inhib as Karsa. I don't think he can win this 1v1 anymore. This is a almost full build Kai'Sa at this point. Still has the Elder for another 30 seconds, so Karsa cannot contest. Pings towards the Baron from both teams. Supers galore across the map here. Both Nexuses barely alive. This is as close as it is possible to be in game number 5. Our first elimination match of the bracket. It couldn't be a better way.
You can see it on Joe's face. He's like, I'm aging 50 years by this game. Please, God, get me out. Oh my God, I thought for certain that Jackie had done it and then that it was going to be disaster again when Gala got the kill off the Elder. Oh.
Gala gets it, but his 2 kills go the way of Top Esports. It's going to be 2 for 2 here on the trade. Baron goes the way of RNG. Joe trying to move in as well. You see 369's had to go back to the base. In fact, 369's only just respawned, I'm pretty sure. So RNG, off of the respawn time is they do get the Baron, but again, it's difficult for them to use it on the map.
Again, at this point, though, it is, I think, maybe 2 autos away from pushing down that Nexus tower. You know, minions that or not, the super minions are pushing back in, so Top Esports, again, planting their feet. There's no more Elder, I believe, to deal with, or it's just about to fall off.
There's no engage for RNG except for Cryan's ulti, which is on cooldown. Top Esports still respect it. 369 didn't have teleport available, so they back away. And I tell you what, Top Esports fans are real happy that Jackie didn't go for the lethality build now, because we're way beyond lethality builds in the game.
Munch, what the hell?
This is a series and a half right here. And you said that I'm gaining years. Do you know what? It's worth it. I'm giving these years to this series because this is exactly what I wanted between these two teams. After the 3-0s that we got in the previous round, this is the reward. This is the payoff for our patience as we see RNG and Top Esports duke it out in the lower bracket.
I could just, the Sooning game was flashing before my eyes where Top Esports entered it over that Renekton, and I was like, oh no, not again, a disaster. And now it's just like, this is a tug of war. This is gonna come down to execution. This is gonna come down to who gets one shot or who face checks into 369. Like, I don't know, there's no more analysis, I'm sorry, someone's gonna blow up.
There is no analysis, there is only hype at this point in the game. We are in a, 40-kill game at 40 minutes on the clock. That's exactly what I want to see. And Jackie with the 12 kills. These fights are all around him, but Knight is on an Orianna. A good Shockwave with a Malphite ult here will win the game for Top Esports. And that's the thing, RNG know that and will try and play around it.
Yeah, and it's also for RNG. So if it's the Wombo combo that's potential there from Top Esports, it's also the slow fights for RNG. You know, making sure that Cryan is set up exactly where they want to fight, that he has his Sand Soldiers ready to go, and it's not just kind of like a quick second reactive. Xiaohu is just playing with fire. He's like, I can outflash this. I assure you I can outflash this. But 369 hasn't tested on it either. Like, that is one Malphite ult away from disaster.
Yeah, but the thing is, these are some of the most confident players in the world. Duo proves it as he goes in onto Ming, forces the quickness. But that's a flash out from Duo. I'd say Ming wins that trade ultimately.
And you can see that it feels like RNG are doing a good job, pressuring the map and pressuring all 3 lanes to give them control over the spawning Elder in about 30 seconds. They've now pulled Xiaohu back. The top wave will still be in their advantage. The mid wave is in their advantage. And you can see that Wei is already sitting on this objective. And there's no Baron this time around to trade the objectives for. You know, this is the Thunderdome. Now, that said, pick potential isn't the greatest on this comp. Although, as I say that, it's like, you know, 80k gold in. So even if you don't have like a traditional pick champion like a Syndra, you get knocked up by Rakan and like 2-shot by Lucian. So maybe it doesn't matter.
Top Esports have got to get in it. That is some damage and a half out of Knight, isn't it? And that's with an Ocean Soul. So Xiaohu trying to sneak up the bottom lane. Jackie and Droll are pushing forward because they've got to contest on the Elder. Gala takes a whirling death, but he's quite happy to just take that one for now. Xiaohu trying to get the calling on out. Nobody's starting the Elder just yet, but RNG in position here. Knight moving in from the top side, but could get caught out. Gala has one-shot potential. RNG are split up right now, which could be disaster for them.
Oh, look at Cryan, look at Lucian. They're going for the end.
The TP's coming on through from both teams. Ming looking to just deny the TPs. He sacrifices his own life to make it happen. Onto the Nexus go. RNG trying to stop it. Cryan knocks him away. 369 onto 2, but he doesn't have the damage. Xiaohu onto the Nexus, and Xiaohu ends the game. RNG in the most important moment of this series, pull out the TPs, pull out the clutch plays. They make the backdoor happen, and 369 can't stop it on his own. Ming the MVP, stopping the teleport from Knight, stopping the defense from Top Esports.
just a split-second map play. You know, that is like the perfect way for this series to end in Game 5 in two very different approaches to how they wanted to win the series. The fact that RNG win on a backdoor with double teleport when Top Esports just wanted to find the fight.
And this feels like such a sigh of relief for RNG after such an incredible split, all split long, maintaining the first place in the standings, managing to be the most dominant team, the most convincing team the whole year, and then to come to playoffs and lose their first series 3-0, go down into the lower bracket, and now in a 5-game slog prove that against the team that everyone talks about, the clutch factor, the mojo, it's RNG that have that clutch factor. They make the clutch play, they make the backdoor happen, and they turn this game on its head.
It was a wild game. There were highlight moments from basically everyone combined, a lot of outplays. On one side, you know, it's happy for RNG. They've been such a dominant force that you just talked about, you know, for how strong they've been in the regular split to now get another opportunity at potentially getting to that final and reclaiming another championship. On the other side, a really sad day for Top Esports fans. You know, that was Jackie Loves Draven, that was Karsa having an incredible series, all series long. You know, Knight pulling out his Orianna, and it's exciting to see Top Esports when they get to play the Top Esports way, but there's also just so many holes that really need to be patched up if they're ever going to be back-to-back defending champions. So they had the summer trophy, you know, they didn't have the worlds that they wanted to have, and unfortunately they're not going to have the spring split that they wanted to have.
Yeah, RNG take them down in the end. And the heartbreaking thing about that as well, Frosk, is that this all goes differently if Wei doesn't steal that Baron. If Wei can't get in the pit and steal that Baron, Top Esports can snowball the lead. They can actually break into the base and they can maybe win the game. The fact that Wei gets that steal in the mid game and turns this game on its head completely changed the face of Summoner's Rift and completely changed how Top Esports could play the game. He individually won this game for RNG.
Look at that gold graph. That is literally just my heart palpitations, just watching this game. Just losing my mind at some of these, you know, tiny moments that you're talking about that were just the difference in, you know, getting to continue your spring split versus going home. I mean, I guess I'm happy that RNG got to prove that it wasn't a fluke. There still seems to be a lot of question marks, though. FPX, especially on their meteoric rise, we're going to get another look at them against EDG, and then loser of that will face RNG to see who will finally go to the finals. But right now, I feel like FPX looks like the best team out of the 3 left.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that one. I think FPX look absolutely insane right now. I'm still kind of... I'm on the come down from this series now. My heart is beating like crazy. That was absolutely mental, but I have to say, it's gutting for Top Esports, but I do think that the performance that they've shown in playoffs was lackluster. I feel like these last 2 games, they kind of acknowledged, look, this is not our meta. This is not the right meta for us. Let's play our own game. And I think that was the correct decision. But I think we needed to see that, like, 6 games ago, you know? I think they needed to figure that out and acknowledge that a little bit earlier on to be able to have a shot in playoffs. Whereas RNG, I think, much more consistent in this meta, and I think ultimately playing with Xiaohu as the carry is the way to go for this team. I think Cryan really stepped up in this series as well. The solo laners for RNG really being the momentum that can take them through a series.
Yeah, it feels like if I had to make any kind of observations from the series, is that 369 is not great at tank duty. Phenomenal carry, but even how he plays Gnar better as kind of like a 1v1 backline assassin and side laner than he does in terms of like team fight Gnar. And I think if you look back at this game, you know, you never really got the big Malphite ultimate into the shockwave, and he just doesn't play that role very well, whereas like Xiaohu also doesn't really play the tank role very well. He plays the carry role well. And so if you put Cryan on someone who understands zone control and understands like facilitating, it's not to say that he can't carry, but I think that's the winning formula for RNG, where they're the most comfortable, where you get to make use of how mechanically gifted Xiaohu is and how aggressive he can be on that front line, especially as a Lucian, and have Xiaohu and Gala be your primary carries, and then Cryan and Ming responsible for zone control, and just have Wei run around and do whatever he wants to do. If that's bear slapping people, or if that's Hecarim, whatever.
Yeah, Wei could just play whatever's real good at the time, and sometimes he gets a cheeky game of Lilia in there, and we get an absolute treat for ourselves. But yeah, I think RNG, they figured out their formula. It worked really well for them in the regular split. We've seen them playing weak side a bit. I really don't like the Ornn from Xiaohu, that kind of style. Just ain't it for RNG. But when they do play these carries in the top side, it looks beautiful, and it's something to behold. And I will say, despite how the games went, blue side 100% win rate in this series in the end. I don't think that was necessarily the reason, especially in that last game. But yeah, definitely a strong performance from RNG, and being the higher seed working out for them, having side selection in that first game, actually influencing this series in a relatively large way.
Yeah, particularly around the Tom Kench pick. Top Esports looked like a completely different team when they got to play Senna and Kench. So I still think there's a lot of hope for Top Esports, but taking a step back away from the series, it was really messy. There were definitely some fiesta games. The last game was super exciting. You still get to see, brilliant individual play and performance, but EDG and FPX are looking pretty monumental, head and shoulders above the playoff form that we've seen from both Top and RNG. So I hope RNG can continue to level up, and we have, 3 good horses in this race still.
Yeah, that's what we got to hope for, right? Is that RNG can move forward from this and take learnings from this series that they do need to play through Xiaohu, because I think that if they don't, EDG and FPX are going to take them apart. And EDG versus FPX will be the next series to happen in playoffs. We have only 3 series remaining now. Our upper bracket final between EDG and FPX. Winner of that moves on to the final. Loser faces RNG to see who that last finalist is. And I have to say, it's incredibly tough to call how this is all going to pan out, but I don't know, man. FPX is definitely the forerunner in my mind, especially with Top Esports not finding the mojo today. That's answered it for me now. FPX, they are the carriers of the mojo, as it were.
Yeah, with Tian and Crisp now in playoff form, Tian especially, FPX have just looked absolutely unstoppable, but it's pretty interesting. There'll be a lot of questions answered today because LEC obviously is going to have their playoffs later on tonight between RNG and Rogue. A winner will face Mad Lions in the finals, and it's kind of like this cool...
RNG and Rogue.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Now, I would love to see that series, but that is definitely not happening tonight. I wish.
Because I'm thinking in my brain, I'm like RGE Rogue versus... No, yeah. G2 versus Rogue. So in the LEC, you could essentially have like the new kids, like Mad Lions and Rogue, and then it could potentially be a final of like EDG and RNG, and so like the old school legacies in the LPL, which would just make MSI like that much cooler to have some of these newer teams face some of these legendary orgs from the LPL, but FPX still putting it in there for the new kids.
Yeah, FPX still stepping on up and maybe having it. I mean, FPX looked amazing at the mid-season cup. I'd love to see them at the mid-season invitational and see if they can repeat that kind of performance. But we have to finish off this series. We have to talk about our MVP coming out of that game. I didn't quite catch who the producer told me it was, but we'll have a bit of a surprise as we finish out the series. And it was Wei. I mean, the KDA is not that impressive, right? The stats on the page right now are not that impressive, but the Baron steal literally saved the game for RNG and kept the playoff dream alive.
Yeah, it was the clutch steals. What a wild game. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. And just the fact that it was against Karsa, of all people, who has just been so consistent on securing these objectives. Now, Knight did his best here to just draw as much time, and this like length of stasis and flash literally saved the game for Top Esports here. But it dragged on. We had multiple fights, multiple teleports, and another steal.
This was such a great game. This game was just so damn good. Wei getting the Elder at the end there literally saves the game again.
That's such a play-by-play thing to say. Every analyst is like, it's never a great game when the way you win it is because your Udyr got 2 flash steals.
That's a great game in my book. 369. I think big honorable mention there to Ming stopping Knight's teleport. Knight TP's there, suddenly Top Esports win the game instead. So huge moment there for RNG. Ming really stepping up when he needed to. Unbelievable game and unbelievable macro again from RNG. they have been the better team at playing the map. That was consistent throughout the entire series. It was consistent throughout the entire split as well. And I feel like even though it's kind of a meme, the backdoor play to win the game almost exemplifies that their priorities are so different to top esports in that they are looking for those objectives. And the Nexus definitely counts as an objective.
Yeah, and I couldn't have said it better. I'm going to be really honest. My voice hurts after that one. I'm like sitting in like a big echoey room, so it's like really hard for me to just like pop off and start yelling. It'll sound like I'm in like a cafeteria, but I was wild. I haven't seen a game that like wild and crazy and intense in a very long time, and I'm just like excited to be back in the LPL because it reminds me why why this region is so good, because you get, you know, those nail biter moments like that.
And this is just the first lower bracket game that we get. We've got 3 more series that are going to be just as intense. Top Esports now out of the running, though. But we're going to head over to the stage because I believe Iris is standing by with Gala for our winners interview.
Thank you very much, guys. I'm Iris here for the interview translation. And we are having Gala, the AD carry from RNG. Hello, I'm Gala from RNG. So after 5 intense games, it was a pretty close best of 5. Are you feeling kind of relieved? Yes. We were pretty tired when we were playing. And today's best of 5 is pretty crucial. It determines that you could get a little further in this playoffs or not. What kind of preparations did you make for today's matchup? Last night we did a lot of research on pick and ban phase. So if we do really well in pick and ban phase, then we will have opportunities. In game 1, you locked in Kaisa and Victor for a late game, but the enemy team locked in Renekton and Nidalee for their early and mid game. What was your early and mid game strategy? They were early game centric, so all we needed to do was to avoid ganking. Do not get caught. So in one team fight, after your support got killed, we didn't back off and had a 4v5 team fight with them. What was the shot calling at the time? Because the enemy team used too many skill shots on our support, so we thought that would be a viable team fight for us. And there was a clip that Karsa went to top to gank Xiaohu, but Xiaohu managed to escape with very low HP, and there was a big smile on his face. What did he talk to you guys at the time? He just, ooh? He was pretty surprised, to be honest. In game 2, Jaw locked in Tom Kench and had a great protection of their AD carry Jackie Love. So why did you ban out Tom Kench in game 3 but let it open in game 4? Because we had other champions to ban out in game 4. So let Tom Kench open, but took locked in Senna. Was it strategic plan? Yes, it was, and we just picked another support that matched Senna. You had so many back doors in the last game. The one team fight, there was only one auto attack to take down the Nexus. What happened at the time? I thought we've already pushed the Nexus, but it turned out to be a no. Yeah, it was just like that. Recently, RNG's fans actually are worrying about your form. And there are so many fans are here in the venue cheering for you guys. Any words for the fans to keep supporting you? Thanks for your support, and we will try our best to have full preparation for the next matchup. talking about the next game, it will be on April 13th. What adjustments do you think you still have to make in order to take the tickets of the finals? I think we still have to make some improvements on our form, on uplifting our form. And last question from our fan, from our audience. Do you have anything to say to your fan club, Gala's fan club? And what do you like most about Ming? Thanks to my fan club. Thank you so much. And about Ming, I think he's perfect. So congratulations to RNG for winning Specify, and I'm gonna pass back to our casters. Thank you.
Oh, there we have it. So Gala very happy with the win, as you'd expect. And I think Gala stepping up as well in this series, when he's been one of the players that's definitely been criticized the most on RNG across the course of this split. It feels like he individually had a really great series for himself, and especially on the Kai'Sa, he looked amazing, of course, but